Hi and welcome to another episode of Toby's Barbecue Corner. Today we're making loin of veal with mushrooms and mini potatoes. Now what you need for it and how to do it, I'm going to show you in this episode. And this is what we need for today. Now obviously you need a loin of veal, you need some bacon, salt, pepper, rosemary, thyme. You can use some chanterelles, some regular mushrooms. You need about half an onion. You need a couple of cloves of garlic, some butcher's twine, a little bit of butter, and some small potatoes. Alright guys, let's talk about veal real quick. So this is roughly 1 kg. Now veal obviously is a cow, but veal is usually a younger cow, so roughly a year old. Usually not older than a year. That's why it's a bit more bright in color rather than the darkish kind of red that you know from older cows. Now it's best if they're just milk fed, but nowadays they sometimes get fed a little bit of grass as well, which then tends to darken the meat a little bit. Now this is obviously Frenched already, otherwise I would have done it myself, but obviously you will have to remove the insides here to French it. But yeah, this came from Metro, so all good. And now we're going to make a bacon net and use all the herbs and create a little package. In order to create the bacon net, what you want to do is you want to lay your strips lengthways. You can have them overlap a little bit and then you fold back every second one. And then you just take a fresh slice of bacon, put it across, and then you fold it backwards. I'm sure you've seen it in some of my other videos. And then you just repeat the whole process. Now obviously once you've done the bottom one, you kind of have to go from the top. So you fold back the other side, you know, obviously as it overlaps and it sticks a little bit, that can be tricky at times. And then we're going to do the next one. Now I'm going to finish this up and I'm going to show you the next step. The bacon net is done. So what you're going to do now is you're going to put the meat on, just like that, with the meat side up. And then I've already stripped some of these herbs off and we're just going to put them on the bottom where the rest of the bacon net is. Just like that. You know, don't be shy. You can use plenty because it will just all get absorbed very nicely into the meat. And then use some coarse salt, coarse pepper, season the meat as well. Just like that. And then we're going to go and wrap it. Now obviously with the bacon what it will do is it will create moisture when it dries, and so the meat will stay nice and moist on the inside. So all you basically do is you take the bacon net and you just have to be careful with the beginning because obviously it is rather fragile, and then you just fold it over. All wrapped up, just make sure you get some of that bacon on in between those bones, and then just take some butcher's twine, do it individually, and help that bacon stick a little bit to the meat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put it individually in between and tie it off. Now what that will do is obviously it will create a neat little package and everything will cook evenly. Just like that. All wrapped up, and now it's going to go on the barbecue. Let's quickly take care of the sides. So what you want to do is you want to finely mince your onion, as well as the garlic, and then we're going to cut up those mushrooms a little bit. Obviously everything is washed, everything's clean. Now with the mushrooms, I suggest, because obviously they're like a sponge, be a bit careful when you wash them. You can also just use a little brush and just brush them, and then that will be fine. But this is roughly the size that you want for your onion chunks. So that will go into a cast iron skillet later on with the mushrooms as well as the garlic and a little bit of butter to give it some nice coating. The barbecue is at 150 degrees Celsius and I've created an indirect zone, so this burner's on, this burner's on. This is what we're going to use later on for the mushrooms. And now the rack will go on and I'm using my trusted meter and we're looking for an internal temperature of 58 degrees Celsius. Whilst we're waiting for the meat to come up to temperature, we're going to quickly boil our little potatoes in salted water for about 20 minutes and then we're going to chop them up and add them to the bottom of the meat, you know, add some thyme and rosemary to them and let all that lovely bacon fat drip on them. The potatoes cooked for 20 minutes and took them outside, let them cool down a little bit and cut them in quarters. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to add them to the veal. So for that I'm going to remove the veal for just a second here to the side. I'm going to put them into the pan. Add a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and then we're going to close the lid again and let the veal as well as the potatoes cook a little while. After the potatoes got back up to temperature a little bit, we're now going to add the rest of the rosemary and the thyme. Give them a bit of a stir. And then we're going to start looking into getting our mushrooms ready. Alright, let's take care of those mushrooms. So initially what we're going to do, we're going to take the butter, let that melt in the skillet. Make sure it's nicely melted. And then we're going to add the onion as well as the garlic to it. Give that a bit of a sear. And now it's time to add the mushrooms and let them cook. You know, give them a bit of a stir, make sure they coat nicely with the butter as well as the onion and the garlic. And guys, I wish you were here to smell this, but the roast, the potatoes as well as the garlic, onion, everything is starting to smell really, really nice. Alright, and we're now going to let that cook until the meter says the meat is ready. Last but not least, let's quickly season the mushrooms with a little bit of salt and pepper. And we have about 5 more minutes to go and then we're ready to eat. Including resting, 1 hour and 50 minutes later. And let's have a quick look. But that looks absolutely fantastic. The bacon has rendered really nicely, so we're going to take off the butcher's twine very carefully, try not to rip into the bacon. And then we're going to remove the meter and give it that center cut. But guys, it smells absolutely delicious, so I'm sure this is going to be fantastic. Alright guys, moment of truth, I suppose. But look at this, doesn't that look delicious? So I'm gonna carve this up and I'm gonna show you the final plate. And now guys, let's start off plating up. So let's start off with the potatoes. Lovely roasted potatoes with a little bit of rosemary and thyme and some lovely olive oil. Then we're going to add some of those mushrooms with the chanterelles, mushrooms, garlic and the red onion. And then last but not least, I'm gonna plate it up like this. And there we have it guys. This is our loin of veal with mushrooms and mini potatoes. And we're gonna dig in now. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about the loin of veal with mini potatoes and mushrooms. Now, it was absolutely delicious. It really worked. The bacon really kept it nice and juicy. So yeah, it was absolutely nice. Now, if you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a comment and a thumbs up. And please head over to that subscribe button for more great videos to come. And I hope to see you soon again at Toby's Barbecue Corner.